So all of the meta images on all of my pages, on all of my products are broken. So if you go and share this beautiful link profile page somewhere, it's just gonna give you an empty broken image. Same for any CZ page or Benji or whatever. And I got so annoyed with it that I finally wanted to nip it in the bud. And I wanna show you how I solved it with Next.js. I'm using Next and I'm using the pages router. I'm not using the app router. So I had this meta tags component. So this is old and I have it across all my projects. And in the image URL, I was using some online service that used to generate meta images, but doesn't exist anymore. So all of my pages got broken. So now what I did is this is what meta tags is doing usually. It would take the props, which are a title, description, URL path, and whatever, image URL, and it would just render all of these meta tags. But the image part is the crucial part. So now I'm passing this OG config with a route and some props. So the route is OG user and the props are username, avatar, and projects. So first of all, we need to make an API route. So I'll be going here in API/OG. This will be all of my API routes, which actually return images. How do they do that, kids? So I'm going to go to user.page.tsx and you can say this is a very weird API route. So first of all, it has a Zod object, which defines which properties do we need in order to generate this meta image. And then it has some tailwind, which defines how will we render that image. So if I go here and if I refresh that API route, you will see that actually we get like a on the fly generated image and I'm on API/OG/user. So this is not hard to do. And I was doing it the non-typesafe way, but I would pass name instead of username or avatar URL instead of avatar. And I would get annoyed back and forth that I cannot properly make sure that this is typed and that it's getting the right props. And also there was a bunch of boilerplate, which I just compressed into this function called create OG image handler. So instead of, doing this song and dance, like handler request and getting the search params and parsing the JSON from them and blah, 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 and returning a new image response, this is technically using the Vercel/OG library. So I just wrapped all of this into a function called create OG image handler. And now I just put it at the end of my API route. So I have this user one and I have this project one. You can see both of them have create OG image handler. They take the Zod schema and then they take the component that they should render. And this is very weird. Like React is freaking awesome because it's not JSX. It's like and Tailwind, you just display it in a way and then it gets converted into an image. That's fucking amazing. So now you might be wondering, like when we go to like pages username here, if I say, I was afraid that I'm going to do this wrong. So I would do API user image or whatever instead of the correct thing, which is like API/OG/user, right? So here you can only put the correct thing. So it cannot be anything else. It has to be OG project or OG user because this is properly typed. And when it is OG user, like I cannot put the wrong type here. Like this has to be a string, or if I'm missing something, it's going to tell me that I'm missing a username because it's extracting the types from the Zod object. And how is it doing that, kids? That's your freaking question. So I'm going to go to my user.page.tsx and I'm going to tell you here we define the Zod and here we export the types from the Zod schema. And I made this, and by me, I mean I made it with the help of Sonnet. And I hope that at this point that's, I don't need to explain that. So I made this file that reads basically recursively all of the API routes. So it goes through all of these API routes that we have here, and it detects the OG ones if they use this function. So if this is present somewhere, create OG image handler, it detects that. And it does all of this nitty gritty randomly generated shit to actually make this file called API routes.ts. And here it imports the correct props for the OG user image. It imports the props, and for the OG project image, it imports the props. And if I do more routes in the future, it's going to automatically generate all of the props for these. And as you can see, we have the rest of the API routes here, but I don't need them. We basically care about these. So as you can see, OG user is marked as an OG route and OG project is marked as an OG route. And here we have something that maps the correct types. There's some global this thingy here, which we don't care about it. Like I think that can be ignored with tsignore and it's still going to be fine. So we have this that randomly, that automatically generates all of them. And now when I want to use an OG image, like the definition is pretty simple. The types are pretty simple. And when I use it on a page like index.page.tsx, I cannot make any mistakes here because everything is properly typed. Now, the only pain in the ass thing is every time you change, when you change your Zod types, you should be fine because that gets imported on the fly. Let's try to actually change this and remove the image and just save. You will see that if I go here and I just refresh, you will render the new image. So everything works nice and on the fly, except when you add a new route. So if you add another route here, for generating images, you will need to make sure to run your script again, or you can turn on a watcher that's actually going to run the watch your API routes. And if you add a new API route, it will actually generate the new API routes for you. And that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. See ya. Bye-bye.